my name is Lorie. I work for the University of Idaho in Jefferson County. My office is in Rigby if you need to find me. Today we are going to be talking about quick and easy hors d'oeuvres. An hors d'oeuvre is something that is a small portion of food that gets your body ready for the rest of the meal. It's an appetizer. So you don't want large portions, just small, yummy portions. It doesn't have to be a meal in itself. I work full-time, and oftentimes I'm invited to an event where on my way home from work, they will invite me and say, bring a dish. And if you don't have something on your shelf kind of ready, or you don't have advance notice, that is very difficult. One thing that is very seasonable right now is apples. So this is a very easy, yummy hors d'oeuvre. It can be a dessert as well that you can take to a party or an event. So first of all, I like to choose a very pretty dish that seems to just make it look so nice. It would be, if you just put it on a cooking sheet, it just wouldn't be the same. So I've chosen a pretty dish. Today I'm using the 1/3 less fat cream cheese because it's softer and it seems to go on the apples easier. So I have two bricks of the cream cheese, and then over this cream cheese I'm going to spread caramel. Today I'm using this brand. It is Mrs. Richardson's just because it is thicker. You are going to just pour this over the cream cheese. There are other brands of caramel. You can make your own. This is found in the ice cream aisle. It's considered an ice cream topping. The caramel that you get for dipping caramel doesn't spread. So this is a very generous portion, of course, and this would be for a gathering of at least 20 people. So put your caramel over the top. Just let it ooze out over there, spread it. Of course, this brand, Hershey's brand, works pretty well also. Then on the top, we are going to generously sprinkle toffee bits. You can use the ones that have chocolate on it if you prefer. I just have the straight toffee bits. So generously sprinkle those on there. Some people use nuts. Sometimes at parties I'm concerned about nut allergies. So I use the toffee bits, and those work really well. Then for apples, slice your apples and just arrange them, stick those right into the caramel and the cream cheese. You can use any kind of apple you like. Granny Smith, I like to use those because they are tart and they seem to go with the caramel so much better. And they don't brown as easily. So if it's going to be sitting out for a little while, the Granny Smith are a good choice. But you can use a combination of both. So arrange your apples all the way around. You can use as many, you can even dump them on there. And when you're finished, you'll have a beautiful, beautiful appetizer. And that was so easy. That took me about 5 minutes to put together, and I could have all these things on hand. The second appetizer that I like to take to parties, it takes a day in advance preparation, and that is just because of the cranberries. I like this time of year because of the cranberries are very seasonable, and I like cranberries so much. They're very festive and very pretty. Today we're going to make crystallized cranberries. So the day before you need to buy some syrup, and the recipe says good syrup, which would be 100% pure maple syrup. I did that the first time, but the second time I used a less expensive brand. I had a very hard time pouring that syrup down the drain after I drained it. So get your maple syrup, just what you would put on pancakes or waffles, and put it in a saucepan and warm it just to warm. So put your finger in it and make sure it's warm. And then pour your cranberries, pour that over the cranberries. Put it in a bowl and let it sit in the refrigerator overnight. You do not want to get the syrup too hot or it'll pop your cranberries, and that is not what we want to do. Next, you're going to drain the syrup, drain the cranberry syrup off of them, and I like to let it sit for about a half an hour at room temperature, and all that syrup will kind of drain off and you will get a sticky cranberry, but it won't be so heavy. If you use a less expensive syrup, you can add some water to it so they don't string so much. So these are draining, and you will take your cranberries, put it in your sugar, use small batches, roll it around in your sugar. Some people like to mix the sugar with the heavy sugar, and those are even pretty. And you kind of dust those off and put them on a tray. Let them stand for about an hour, and after an hour, they will be they'll be hard and firm, and they will look like this. Just some pretty crystallized sugar on the top for your berries. Perfect, so that's how you get your berries ready. And these are really nice for other things too. You can put them on cupcakes, on cakes. You can use them for a garnish on many things. So you just don't have to use it for crackers. They're very seasonal. They'll stay in the refrigerator. If you put them in a covered dish and put them in the refrigerator, they'll last for at least a week. Of course, they're fruit, so eventually they will start to shrivel and lose their crystallized covering. What I'm going to make with these beautiful cranberries today is a cracker hors d'oeuvre. So easy. I like the larger crackers. There's different brands. I'm using this brand. It's just because it's a little bigger, when people grab an hors d'oeuvre, they have a nice bite. You can use the smaller crackers as well. So I have my cranberries. I'm going to garnish with mint. And let's talk about chutney. Chutney is it used to be easy to find, but now it's kind of hard. I found this one at a local store. This one I found at my grocery store. This is a relish, which is very similar. And this chutney I ordered online. It doesn't matter which one you use. One thing to consider is chutneys often have nuts in them, so consider a nut allergy. A chutney is chunks of oftentimes apple, cranberry, has some citrus in there as well. It's a very thick preserve. A relish is very much the same. They also have cinnamon, nutmeg, very fall heavy, yummy, they're so yummy flavors to them. So today I'm going to use the relish, and you can get this in almost any grocery store. Cream cheese. You can also use a brie cheese. I use this for convenience because cream cheese is so easy to spread. So you put your cream cheese on there, and then choose your chutney or your relish. It doesn't take a lot. The flavor is wonderful. And then your beautiful berries. You can just pile those on there. 3 or 4, and mint, fresh mint. The mint is for a garnish, and you do not have to put mint on every one of your crackers. That is totally up to you. Of course, you're going to fill these up. Work quickly. This can be done a half an hour before people show up. I like to make it for them instead of have them do their own for food safety purposes. And speaking of food safety, one of the reasons I choose this is I can put this in my car. I do not have to pack when I go to some place, I don't have to take a cooler, worry about keeping hot food hot and cold food cold. Super, super easy to travel. Of course, I'm going to fill my whole tray up, and these are super easy and beautiful, and they're very seasonal and festive for this time of year. made two fast and easy and super yummy appetizers for your events. This one took about 5 minutes, so easy, and this would be very good for this fall. Thanksgiving is coming. Apples are very plentiful. And this would be great for Thanksgiving or Christmas. Super festive, looks very Christmassy, and it's easy. Enjoy them, they're super yummy, and thank you so much.